WECU 1570 AM and W298BX 107.5 FM, Winterville, North Carolina. WNOS 1450 AM and W272EK 102.3 FM, licensed to New Bern, North Carolina.
Motivations with Glenn.
Good day, everyone tuning into Awesome Radio. This is Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU, Winterville, Greenville, North Carolina. You are tuned into the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. About a week ago, Apostle asked me a question about what are the call boxes at the medical center and the college campuses. Well, I did a little research. We're going to discuss what those boxes are, actually. And also, we want to do a topic on ways to call for emergency help. Without further ado, let me introduce my co-host. Here's Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams.
Hey, Dr. Glenn, and to our listening audience on today, I am very excited about this cliffhanger that we left and that question that was asked. I mean, there's a lot of people, that ask me, what is the show going to be about? And I was telling them. And so they're going to be tuning in today to find out about those blue lights and what those things mean around the city, because I'm sure that many people have seen them, but they don't understand or know how it's used or what it is for. And I needed to know too, because I see them even near my neighborhood. There are some medical buildings very close to my neighborhood, and I stay kind of on the backside of the hospital. So I see those lights and certain things in the parking lots. I see them on certain telephone poles throughout the city and in different places. And I'm wondering, what are these blue lights? I remember one particular store used to have a blue light special. And when the blue light was on, it meant that there was something on sale.
Yeah.
So I know these blue lights don't mean the same thing.
Exactly. And without looking at the document, I know this for a fact, being a former law enforcement officer. And essentially, if there's a camera present anywhere, it has to be posted that you are being recorded. That's why there's a blue light, to let you know there's a camera there and you are being recorded.
Yeah, so today we're going to look at what some of those things are, because not every single one of them is a phone to call, because that's what I thought. I thought it was like, but they could mean different things where according to where they're positioned. And so maybe this information is something you need to know. When you talk about being recorded, I mean, if you're out there doing a crime, you need to know that you're being recorded. You need to know that you're being recorded. Well, and even it talked about certain traffic areas, but we'll get into depth into the documents and also have a document that talks about what constitutes an emergency.
That's right.
And I said to that, anything that I say is an emergency. If I got to call somebody, it's an emergency.
What constitutes an emergency is important. That's why here in Pitt County, North Carolina, Pitt County Emergency Management, they formulated a plan and created what's called community paramedics to eliminate misuse of calling 911. These community paramedics, they're licensed paramedics, trained individuals that will come out to the house, evaluate the person in question, make sure their medication is proper, make sure they're taking the proper medication, and things of that nature. So Pitt County community paramedics is important.
Yes, and that program is definitely a buffer to stop people from calling for non-emergency things, and they're being picked up and taken to the hospital for something they can see their regular doctor for, or something that is a non-emergency. And so it's like a go-between, because those are trained professionals, from what I understand, that go out to see these patients. So that they're not, just calling it for everything, calling 911 because they feel like they have no contact with anyone and they have no resources or no one else, to call or to hear, whatever the matter is. And so sometimes things become an emergency and it's not an emergency.
And also, if you call 911 and they show up, you have to be transported to the hospital by ambulance, you are going to get a bill for that.
Definitely you're going to get a bill for it.
That's
but
right.
What about those that don't have to pay, that are on certain systems? They're also trying to cut down on that, because
That's right.
That's the use of those resources for things that definitely don't need to be. And also backing up the emergency room department with non-emergencies, with a lot of people that are sitting there, and you could be over there 7 to 10 to 12 hours. And so that system is also there to be as a buffer to stop some of the sitting and waiting in the emergency room when it's not really an emergency.
And let me just mention this very quick. We're going to get to the time limits it takes for you to arrive and get seen at the emergency room versus urgent care, and so in clinics and so on and so forth. So if you have a pen and paper, get ready to write down some phone numbers and some information. And the alternative, just copy down or write down my email address, GlennJohnsonShow@gmail.com. That's Glenn with 2 N's, JohnsonShow@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to send you the document because it's very important. Apostle, I want you to do something for me. Will you look in the stack of papers, find the Greenville blue light? We're going to talk about that for a minute because
I have it here on top, and I have many things highlighted.
Yeah, because make sure you highlight the part where it mentions Greenville Police and ECU Police have a mutual aid agreement. So ECU Police, just like Greenville Police, can stop and question you, issue you a citation, because they are sworn law enforcement officers in the state of Pennsylvania. So it don't matter if they're in Greenville Police or ECU Health Police, they are still in the city of Greenville. They have a mutual aid, and they can stop you and arrest you.
Well, I thought when you said a second ago, I thought you said in the state of Pennsylvania. I thought you said it by accident.
Yeah, probably did. State of North Carolina.
State of North, yeah. They're not licensed in Pennsylvania. They're licensed in North Carolina. That was a slip of the tongue. You must be thinking about Pennsylvania today, Dr. Glenn.
I am for some reason.
Oh, you need to be over there?
Actually, I don't.
All righty. And so when we come back, we will talk about the blue lights. It was one of the cliffhangers and a question that I brought up, and I thought it would be an interesting topic because there's a lot of people that don't know. And I mean, I have the whole paper highlighted because there's so much information and so many different things and ways that these particular blue lights can operate. And we need to know what it is. And those of you that haven't looked before, when you're out at night, you need to look around. There are some blue lights around. You might not even notice them. They're up on the poles, and you need to see that and know what those lights are for. Right, Dr. Glenn?
That's right. Even if you visit Walmart or Hooker and Hooker and Greenville Boulevard, there's a portable portable stationary thing with a pole that goes up, elevated, with a camera on it, and the blue light is flashing to let you know that there's a camera there and you are being recorded.
Wow. Now you know. So sometimes you wonder how they figure out how you did it, how you got away with the crime, what time when you say you was at one place and they go back and check the camera and see and they saw you at this place. You're wondering how they figure it out because there are cameras all around.
Also in that Walmart parking lot, I witnessed a person get pulled over by Greenville police. She's a citation for not stopping for a stop sign. The person was female. She said, well, I'm not on the street. I'm in a private parking lot. But still there's a stop sign. In North Carolina, law says if you approach a stop sign, you are to stop. She didn't stop and got issued a citation.
Yes, Dr. Glenn, those things are helpful for many things, but I don't know if I like people watching me like that. You know, Michael Jackson had a song that said, I always feel like somebody's watching me. Are they watching us all the time? I don't know if I need that in my life. Dr. Glenn.
Yeah, that was, I'm trying to think of his name. Yeah, that was, what was his name? He was, Michael Jackson was a part of the song.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't actually Michael Jackson's song. And the name is on the tip of my tongue. I just can't get it out. We have 30 seconds and go to the break. Apostle, take us out to the break.
Hey, come on back. So after we have to go to this break, but we want you to hang on in there. We also want you to call in today if you want to be a part or you have something you want to say concerning this broadcast. The phone number is 252. Oh, Dr. Glenn. 252. I will give you the phone number when we come back from this break. This is the Glenn Johnson Show. You're listening to us right here on Awesome Radio. We will be right back in a moment.
Awesome Radio.
You're listening to Awesome Radio, Christian media with the spirit of excellence.
Awesome Radio. Yes, awesome. Awesome. Can you feel it? Awesome. Awesome.
Awesome Radio Network will be spreading the love of Jesus to the male residents at McGregor Downs Help Center, Greenville, with a gift bag for Father's Day on Friday, June 19th. If you would like to help donate, $10 will sponsor a bag. We can be reached at 252-756-3137. Visit our website to see the gift bags for our Mother's Day giveaway, awesomeradionetwork.org. Pictures are also on our Facebook page at Awesome Radio WECU. Look for our logo. We can be reached at 252-756-3137. That's 252-756-3137.
Hello, this is C. Say Brown. Thank you for listening to the Awesome Radio Network.
Awesome Radio. Yes, awesome. Awesome. Can you feel it? Awesome. Awesome.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show. Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. Here on Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU, Winterville, Greenville, North Carolina. As we were going out to the break, Apostle was giving out the phone number to call in live to be a part of the broadcast if you have a question or comment. That number is 252-756-2008. Apostle's sitting over there with her sticky pads and note, and she just wrote it down so she won't forget.
Yeah, I was trying to get it out, and then I had a quick brain freeze because I have three thoughts going through my mind at the same time. But again, that phone number is 252-756-2008, and you're welcome to call in and be a part or chime in on this broadcast. So we're going to talk about the blue lights that we left as a cliffhanger on one of our shows, prior shows, and we're going to talk about those blue lights because I think also there's something with the law enforcement that we need to know that I didn't know until I saw this particular document. So it says the blue lights on top of street light poles with cameras in Greenville, North Carolina are components of the city's public safety network or traffic management systems. So we need to know that's important because every light that we see is not necessarily a light that where you can use that particular or have a box where you can call for help. Some of them are traffic management lights. So they're able to look and see who's speeding. They're able to catch you and catch your patterns. You speeding through there every day and, you know, trying to get to work or trying to get to the store, or you're passing people on the wrong side of the road. They can see those things by those particular cameras at those places.
And some of those cameras atop the light poles throughout the city of Greenville are in particular areas to monitor crime activity. So beware of your cameras in your area because they are monitoring crime activity.
And it says here, depending on their specific location, they generally serve one of the three primary purposes. And Dr. Glenn just gave us one of them. But let's go into detail. And one of them is a law enforcement security camera, as Dr. Glenn just said. Many of these poles are equipped with a high-definition surveillance camera. So those blue lights that you see around the city at night, and then I did see something about a red light too, Dr. Glenn, but the blue lights, the ones that are blue, it says that, and it says they are equipped with a high-definition surveillance cameras. The steady or flashing blue light is a deliberate law enforcement tactic used to increase visibility. So it might be blinking and it might be still.
And let me just mention something else off the top of my head. Here in the state of North Carolina, the reason why it's blue is because blue lights represent law enforcement, whereas red signifies or represents fire rescue. If you go to another state, it might be reversed. You know, I always mention New Jersey, that's where I'm from. And New Jersey is red. Volunteer firefighters are blue. So, if, like I have mentioned to a friend of mine, he was going to New Jersey, never been to New Jersey. So I told him, I said, look, just remember, if you see red lights flashing, it's not fire rescue, it's the police, so you better pull over. He was glad I gave him that information because he did not know.
Oh, wow. Well, you know, I always say this, Dr. Glenn, in lieu of seeing that these blue lights are there for law enforcement to monitor patterns and traffic things. And it says that the Greenville Police Department maintains hundreds of these cameras across the main thoroughfares, the business district, and uptown areas to help monitor traffic, investigate accidents, and solve cases. So I'm always saying, where are they when I need them? You know, somebody's always cutting me off. Somebody's always driving. And I'm like, look, you know, I'm on my commute to work. I see them there. But as soon as I see somebody doing something crazy or somebody driving erratic, I don't see the camera. I don't see the police.
But I'm glad you mentioned that because if the Greenville police had to monitor that type of situation, do you know how many calls and stops they would have to make? It would be astronomical.
Well, I'm wondering, can they go back and give a ticket? Because sometimes people have done things that is worthy of a ticket. You know, and it gets me, you know, Greenville is getting a very, very negative reputation for the driving and the traffic here. There are videos out there that are on social media that are showing people doing very dangerous things and people, you know, speeding around in the middle lane and doing all kinds of things to cut other people off that could cause dangerous accidents. And there are a lot of accidents that are being taped, that are being put out there on social media at the scene, showing how bad it is to drive in Greenville.
You will have 4 minutes for this particular segment. I want to ask Apostle if she would go down to the Greenville PD section and look for the Greenville PD and ECU medical or ECU police, how there's a mutual aid between the two.
All right, Dr. Glenn, you're jumping ahead of us. We got a few other things on this document that we have to do before we get there. It's there, but let's do this traffic. Number 2, the second reason why the blue lights are there is traffic signal confirmation lights. And it said at signalized intersections, small blue lights mounted above or below the standard traffic signals are known as confirmation lights. How they work: these lights are wired directly to the traffic signal and illuminate when the light is actively red in a specific direction. So they can catch you running that light and see that you're running that light at that intersection by those blue lights.
Yeah.
The purpose, they allow police officers parked nearby to verify if a driver has run the red light without having to see the actual red light from their own vantage point. So they could tape you. You didn't see him, and they caught you down the road, and you're wondering, how did they know I ran that? He was nowhere near. Well, they're using this as an aid to help them catch you run those red lights.
Well, you know, City of Greenville had the red light cameras previously. Then they took them down, they put them back up. Now they're down again. When they put them up the second time, people had complained because you have a right to have your accuser present in the courtroom. How could you produce the camera? So they took them down, and they made it a civil thing, but now it's all gone.
Yes, and I understood that the sheriff, Paula is her name, that she piloted that program with grant money to be able to get those cameras in those specific places. That was something that she piloted and she was able to get the funding for that. So I thought they were a good thing, but I don't have a problem with chronic speeding or running lights, so it doesn't bother me to see it on the thing. I mean, I speed sometime, everybody does, but chronic, and not so much so that I don't want to be identified by a light. If you are running through a red light or running through an intersection very fast, then you need to be getting a ticket.
Yeah.
And number 3, it says traffic analyzers and sensors. It says some installations feature an ultra-wide angle sensor or traffic cameras designed to monitor vehicular flow rather than enforce citations. So some of them are just watching the flow of traffic. They're looking at it says that these devices feed data into the city's active traffic management system to help remotely control the timing of lights and ease congestion. Because there are times when you're coming out in the evening and certain lights do need to hold a little longer than they do at other times. In the daytime may not need to hold that long, but in the evening and the traffic time when everybody's coming home from work, those lights may need to stay on a little longer in one direction versus the other.
Well, I do know one thing, and I really appreciate this. Sometimes I'll leave my house 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, go down Old Tar Road, make a left on Fire Tower to go to the Sheet Station. And at that time, every light on that fire tower is green. I can make it from Old Tar Road all the way to Greenville Boulevard with all the lights in the green pattern.
Isn't that cool? Because
Yeah.
somebody changed it because they don't need to have it, that long at that time.
Yeah.
I like that.
I haven't posted one red light en route to the seats, made it all the way to Greenville Boulevard, not Greenville Boulevard, Arlington, where the sheets are located, all green lights from Old Tar Road all the way to Arlington Boulevard.
Hey, we're getting ready to go out on another break, and we're going to extend the invitation to you that you could still call in and be live with us right here on the air after this break. Hey, we want you to hang in there because we have some more things about the blue lights that we want to tell you. This is the Glenn Johnson Show. You're listening to us on Awesome Radio. We'll be right back with you in a moment. Hang in there, right back.
The 11th Annual Youth Incarceration Prevention Ministry event beginning 12 noon Saturday, June 6 at St. John Missionary Baptist Church, Soul Saving Center in Stokes at 2921 Briary Swamp Road. Youth of all ages are invited to attend this totally free event. Come get motivated to not make jail time your destiny. Keynote speaker Sheriff Paula S. Dance, along with other guest speakers to include Judge Wendy S. Hazelton, Lieutenant Gary Howard, Jalen Staten, Minister Derek Clark, Mrs. Julie Bunn. There will be gift card giveaways, food trucks, global gaming truck, bouncy houses, and more. Contact Eddie 252-341-7546. Evelyn 252-253-9520. Brenda 252-717-0097. The 11th Annual Youth Incarceration Prevention Ministry event, Saturday, June 6, beginning 12 noon at St. John Missionary Baptist Church, Soul Saving Center in Stokes. Pastor Gregory V. Black. Scholarships and recipients will be recognized at this event.
Awesome Radio.
Hello, this is Guy Jackson. Thank Thank you for listening to the Awesome Radio Network.
Awesome Radio. Yeah, it's awesome. Awesome. Can you feel it? Awesome. Awesome.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show. Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams here on Awesome Radio. 107.5 FM, 1570 AU, 1570 AM, WECU, Winterville, Greenville, North Carolina. This is the Glenn Johnson Show. You're tuned in. We're discussing how to get emergency help, all happening now. Here's Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams.
Yes, Dr. Glenn. And one more thing here. This is where you wanted me to go down to. It says, while the Greenville Police Department utilizes this robust surveillance network, you may also be thinking of the emergency blue light phone system located on the nearby East Carolina University ECU campus. So this system that is on the ECU campus is a little different. It is not just surveillance. There are ways to call for help. You know, I understand, and I've seen a few things in the past about, you know, individuals being attacked on the campus. So this system is here, you know, to help people. There's a lot of, you know, the students that may not have cars or vehicles and they have to walk places, or they have to get out to the road in order to get to the public transportation, or, you know, they live nearby and they need to walk, you know, across the campus and places. So, and it could be pitch dark out there. One of the things, you know, that camera system is a big help, you know, to make sure that, you know, that people are safe and they have access to calling the police through those blue light camera systems. It said key details about surveillance in the area include camera visibility. Security cameras are mounted by the Greenville Police Department, often feature flashing or steady blue lights to signal their presence to the public and deter potential offenders. So by seeing the light, it should deter. But you know, there's some people, they decide they're going to do something. They don't care if that light is flashing, and somebody could be on the phone and they still might try to do. It says the city relies on CCTV, and I'm sure that means closed circuit TV cameras for general public safety, but does not use them for automated speed enforcement on city streets. So it says that the university system, if you are on the ECU campus, the university maintains approximately 100 emergency blue light phones that are placed in sight of the closed circuit TV cameras, allowing immediate connection to the ECU police dispatch. That seems like a lot of cameras.
Yes, it is a lot.
On that campus, 100.
But it's a big campus.
It is.
Now that is called call box. Is it call box?
Yes, it said it maintains 100 emergency blue light phones. So that is the call where you're saying is a call box. So, Dr. Glenn, would you explain to us? Because you told us how it works.
Yeah.
That particular, phone service works.
I actually went to ECU University, a couple of places on campus, and ECU Health Medical Center. And those call boxes actually does not have a keypad. There's just a one button with a speaker. You hit the button, that connects you right to the police department. They'll start communicating with you. You communicate with them.
Okay, that's still pretty cool, though. I wish we had those in more places. But you probably see kids over there pressing that button and doing things in neighborhoods that they shouldn't. But I think it's a great idea. I think 100 is a lot. I'm just saying, but it is a big campus. But I guess maybe there are places that are in obscurity, and I haven't been all over every place in the campus. So,
and just like you said, on the campus, it's not just for emergency situations. Like you said, there be some students without transportation. They have to walk certain places. So you can actually go to the call box, press the button, and request an escort to wherever you're going, and the police will escort you there.
And that's a great benefit there to have an escort. I'm sorry, I'll be pressing that button if I had to walk. They'd be over, know me by name. It's you again? You getting off work at this time? Here, they will already be sitting there for me because I'm gonna press it every day. I need you to come and walk me.
They'll be sitting back there by the box. They'll be talking about Lord Jesus. Here she go again.
That's right. That's exactly what I will be doing. I'll be right there on that box. I need an escort because I don't need no bugs to get on me. I don't need to be chased by any animals, and I don't want anybody looking at me too hard.
We have 4 minutes to go for this particular segment. Then we'll be back with our final 20 minutes. During those 20 minutes, I would like to mention some non-emergency numbers. So this is where I'd like for you to get your pen and paper. Write down some of these numbers for non-emergency so you don't have to call 911. And the alternative, like I said, you can email me at glennjohnsonshow@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to forward these documents to you.
Yes, and if we have time, we'll go over a few things from what constitutes an emergency. Because,
Yes.
what I'm saying here, about just pressing the button, that's not an emergency. That's just wanting the escort or wanting some attention, you know. But on the ECU campus, I'm sure that they have given out boundaries for what needs to be that box needs to be utilized for versus when not to use it.
And while you talk about that, let me just credit Greenville PD and ECU Police Department because the documents that we have actually obtained from their website. So credit goes to Greenville PD and ECU Police Department.
Yes, that is so awesome that they were able to give that. Area resources where you can find assistance. Is that what you were talking about, Dr. Glenn?
That's one of them. Yeah.
Yes. There's a lot of resources and different things that you can get. There's even one specific document here about the ECU Police and ECU Health Police that is specifically for that. Is that me or is that you, Dr. Glenn?
That's not me.
It wasn't me. It doesn't look like it's me.
Oh, that is me.
Yeah, it's you. It don't hardly ever be me, Dr. Glenn.
Yeah. I thought I put it on mute, and it's in the refrigerator, as a matter of fact, because I left it in my bag of goodies.
Oh, yeah. It's bringing in the refrigerator, Dr. Glenn. So Dr. Glenn wanted us to do some non-emergency contact. I'm going to start it, and then when we come back from the break, we'll be able to finish it. But these non-emergency contacts is the Greenville Police Department, and we'll start with that one. The phone number is 252-329-4315. That's the Greenville Police Department, 252-329-4315. And that's a great thing. The Pitt County Sheriff Office, 252-902-2800. I'm wondering I'm wondering what's the difference in needing to call the Pitt County Police Department versus the Sheriff Office.
No, it's not Pitt County Police Department.
I mean Greenville Police Department and the Pitt County Sheriff Department. What's the difference in the Greenville Police Department versus the Pitt County Sheriff Office?
They're two separate entities.
Yes, I know, but I'm saying if I have an emergency, how do I know which one I need to call?
Well, the dispatcher knows what agency to give the call to just so they can respond.
Okay, when I'm calling now, but these are non-emergency numbers. So they might tell me and direct me and say, well, you need to call the Pitt County Sheriff Office versus this. Every time I called, I've always called the Greenville.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever been sent anywhere else and that's why I'm trying to figure it out here. Well, anyhow, that's a good cliffhanger to another question that we may need to go into depth and see what's the difference in calling each one. Hey, we're getting ready to go out on another break here, and we want to give you the opportunity to call in if you want to call in and be a part of this show. I know we're giving out some good information. Let me tell you something, Dr. Glenn. I really miss Pepperman. I haven't heard from him in weeks. Where is the Pepperman?
Yeah.
Where is the Pepperman? We miss his commentary and calling in for us. And I know he's probably very busy at this time.
And this would have been a good one for him to call in.
It really would. It really would, because we're giving out some good information here. And I just want to let him know that, he makes our show very special.
That's right.
When we hear him call in. So hopefully he'll get a break and he'll be able to call in. Hey, we're getting ready to go out on this break. This is the Glenn Johnson Show. You're listening to us right here on Awesome Radio. We're going to be back in a moment. More information.
It's early morning. A parent is getting their child ready for school. Across town, someone's preparing for an important medical appointment. In moments like these, one thing matters most. Who can you trust to get your loved ones there safely? That's where Emmaus Travels comes in. Founded in Greenville, Emmaus Travels was built on one mission: to provide safe, dependable rides for students and adults needing medical transportation in Eastern North Carolina. Our drivers aren't just drivers. They're trained, vetted, and compassionate people who understand that every ride matters. Because to us, it's not just about getting from point A to point B, it's about peace of mind. It's about knowing your child is in good hands, your loved one is cared for, and every journey is handled with respect. So when you're making that important decision, choose the one that truly cares. Learn more at EmmausTravels.org or call 252-412-3169. That's 252-412-3169. Emmaus Travels. We go the extra mile.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show. Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. I want to try to answer a question for Apostle. She was speaking at when we went on a break. What's the difference between the Greenville Police Department and the Sheriff's Office? Well, one difference is, I know for a fact, is the Sheriff's Office is responsible for more things than the Greenville Police Department. The Sheriff's Office is the only law enforcement agency that handles domestic violence and restraining orders and things of that nature. I know Greenville Police can actually monitor somebody for that same thing, but the Sheriff's Office handles civil litigations. So your call to Greenville Police might concern a civil matter, and they might say that's the responsibility of the Sheriff's Office and direct you to the Sheriff's Office.
Well, and when I'm looking at this, it's probably a very easy to obvious question that I was looking at, and I went on a brain freeze with it. Well, when you look at it, just the names, Greenville Police Department probably just deals with what happens here in Greenville versus the Pitt County Sheriff takes care of everything in Pitt County, which is outside of the city of Greenville as well.
That's right, exactly.
So that's probably the biggest difference there is the location as to where you are, because there are other cities in Pitt County besides Greenville.
And that's right, the jurisdictional structure of the Sheriff's Office that handles all municipalities within the Pitt County.
Yes.
So they respond to calls in the city of Greenville as well as other cities or towns.
Yes, because I was way out somewhere in the country. And we went past this house, and we saw at least 5 police cars. I said, now what they doing over at that house with 5 police cars? Crimes happen everywhere.
Yeah.
Violence happens everywhere.
I think it's Bethel.
Yeah.
Bethel dismantled their police department, so it's the responsibility of the Sheriff's Office now to patrol.
It was definitely Bethel,
Yeah.
and it was way out there, on some back area. And I said, what's going on over there? 5, 6 police cars out here at this one little house out here. So, and I was surprised to see, that many police cars, and they didn't say Bethel on them. So
It's in Sheriff's Office?
yes. So I know that it was. So as we said, they cover more areas than just Greenville. So that could be a major difference there. And I'm sure there are some other specific minute differences that we may not know of right off the top of our head.
And that's what I'm saying. In some jurisdictions, the Sheriff's Office might be the sole law enforcement office or law enforcement agency that's responsible for patrolling and maintaining that particular city or town.
Yeah, and they have to ride out there, to help, and so it is still good to know that you can get the help regardless of being right outside of the city. Also, it said we have an area resource list here, and I felt like there were some important things that are on here, and these are non-emergency ways to get help. Help getting a job. And it said the Employment Security Commissions. If you need help getting a job, you could call them at 252-355-9067. There's a lot of people that are looking for a job.
And there was one thing on there, non-emergency, about how to get help with food, particularly if you have children, school-age children. And I agree, because I think all of our children need to be well-nourished and maintain a healthy lifestyle. So if you can find information for that, that would be fantastic.
Well, and also I want to say that a lot of the schools have programs where they are coming in to help, families that are in need with food, and that food is delivered right to the school, and the children take it home.
That's good.
I've seen that program with my own eyes. I don't know what it's called, but I know I've seen, that food being dropped off to certain needy families, and I think that's a very great and powerful thing. They never dropped us nothing off. They didn't drop anything off for us when we was growing up. You got what you got from the government, that was it. You didn't get anything dropped off at school. So, to see that program that has already identified those families and is helping them, the child take it home on the weekend. They go home, and each child in the, that family or whatever, they give them that food. And, and it helps to supplement having something to eat.
Now, this doesn't have anything to do with, but have you ever had a block of government cheese?
We grew up on that cheese. We're talking about had a block of it. How many blocks didn't we eat?
That was some good cheese.
My
boy.
mother used to make macaroni and cheese out of that big brick or block of government cheese.
That's right, that big brick.
It was like 5 pounds?
Yeah.
A 5 pound brick. And, some of the cheese was good, but some of that other stuff was very, very nasty.
But that government cheese was the best cheese to make a grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah, but those eggs, who invented powdered eggs? The government was trying to torture us little people. They didn't think about taste when they put together some of those things. But hey, at least you had something to eat.
Yeah.
That powdered milk, ew.
We have
they
4
didn't
minutes.
taste nothing like milk, Dr. Glenn.
We have 4 minutes remaining. Then we'll go on break. We'll come back with our final 10 minutes. But Apostle, do we have any more relevant information, non-emergency or emergency?
Definitely. For the non-emergency help with transportation, there is the Aladdin taxi, and it's 252-830-5466. I needed to look at this here. Some of them, there's the Pitt Area Transit, and it's 252-902-2010 is the number.
I was going to mention that because when I first moved here, I had to apply for Pitt County or Pitt Area Transit with my Medicare card to get to medical appointments. So that was a good thing.
Is that the bus system or the other system? Because I see another system picking up people in vans and, in cars and those type of thing. Was it that type, or was it that you got a bus pass?
No, I got the actual Pitt Area Transit.
Okay.
With the vans, with the wheelchair lifts and all that stuff.
Right. That's what I was talking about. Yeah. So I've seen those, and I know it's a lot of that here in the city. In the morning when I go to work, I see those going all over, getting people and getting them ready for their.
And other areas, other states, it's just referred to as paratransit.
Yes, there are also, and remember we said to you, because I can't do the exhausted list here and read off everything on the paper, but there's an exhausted list of churches and different places that will help you with food and medical, and also help you with your bills. And
I just realized something just the other day. A lot of churches have on their property what they call blessings box. The blessings box is filled with non-perishable foods, canned goods, crackers, things of that nature. You can go to the blessings box, help yourself.
And there are also some blessing boxes near some of the parks and different places. I've seen them where you're able to put in the food or put in donated items. I've even seen a blessing box for books, where you can put in some books, and somebody that needs books for their children, they can go and pick those books out of the box.
Yeah, I've seen that too. I want to mention a particular church because there's so many. I want to give everybody credit, so you just have to check for yourself. There are a number of churches that have blessing boxes.
Well, and there are churches that give out food. There are some that don't just go to help you, but they give out food weekly, and you can go over and you can get food. Some of them give out meat, and they give out fresh produce. They give out snacks. They give out breakfast things. They give out a lot to make sure that you have some meals. Then there's some that just give out fruits and vegetables. So you'll have to pick which one that you need, but there's a lot of them that are giving out these particular things. And some of them I know personally. So I don't want to call any of the names. And that's why I said if you need these documents, you could email Dr. Glenn and he will send them to you because it is very, everything is very direct here and the names are printed on here.
So please email me if you'd like to acquire these documents. I'll be more than happy to send it to you. My email address, once again, glennjohnsonshow@gmail.com. That's Glenn with 2 N's, johnsonshow@gmail.com. Apostle will take us out to the break.
Hey, you still have time to call in. We have a few more segments left here, and we'd love to hear from you on today. Call in, and you could be live on the air with me and Dr. Glenn. This is the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. And we're so glad that you're hanging in there and tuning in. You're listening to us right here on Awesome Radio. We will be right back after this break. Hang on with us.
Awesome Radio.
Hello, this is Erin Thompson. Thank you for listening to the Awesome Radio Network.
Awesome Radio. Yes, awesome. Awesome. Can you feel it? Awesome. Awesome.
Looking for the perfect place to grow your business? Welcome to the LJPK Business Center, Greenville's newest hub for entrepreneurs, innovators, and creators. With private offices, open co-working spaces, meeting rooms, and even a podcast studio, LJPK is more than just an office. It's a community where vision meets opportunity. Located at 210 South Washington Street, Greenville, North Carolina. Call 252-420-1355 for details. LJPK Business Center. Creates, connects, grow.
Awesome Radio.
I am Miss Mary Cox. I'm Keller Thicken's mother from Awesome Radio.
Awesome Radio. Yes, awesome. Awesome. Can you feel it? Awesome. Awesome. Awesome Radio. Yes, awesome. Awesome. Can you hear it? Awesome. Awesome.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is our final 10 minutes of today's broadcast here on the Glenn Johnson Show. I'm going to put Apostle to a task. Apostle, you think we're going to get through all these documents today?
I don't think we're going to get through all of them, but I do want to talk about the Pitt County Animal Services.
All right, but before you do that, I'm going to give you a little task. You mentioned earlier about the school and how they have a program for children to get food and stuff, but you didn't quite know the information. I want you to find out that source. We'll do a part 2 next week and include that with it.
Okay, we'll do a cliffhanger, and I'll get the name of it. I've seen it many times, but I don't know its name. And I probably was told it at one time, but I've just forgotten it. So I'll just ask some of my, some of the people in the school system about what that program's called.
I'm pretty sure between now and the next week, you will have it. Email it to me, and we'll conclude it with next week's broadcast.
That's right. So I want to talk about the Pitt County Animal Services.
Oh, 1 second. I'm looking forward to having a guest on maybe next week or the week after. This is associate minister at the church that I attend, Mount Shallow Missionary Baptist Church. It's Reverend Harper. She has lupus, and they're celebrating lupus awareness and lupus month. So I asked her, would she be a part of my broadcast, and we'll discuss that because it's a terrible disease, everybody. So in weeks to come, we'll have Reverend Harper on, and we'll do a topic on lupus.
Yes, and lupus is very, very popular in the Black community. And Dr. Glenn, I want to say this. I don't know, and that doesn't mean that it's not true, but I don't know of any men that have lupus. I've only seen females. I wonder I'm not saying they don't have it. I'm just saying I never I never met a man and he said to me, I have lupus. I've only seen females. So
Right.
is it, I mean,
I'm going to research and include that in the broadcast when
I'm
we do
just
it.
saying now, I mean, think about it.
But you're right.
You
I never
mentioned a
heard.
female, you didn't say a male.
Yeah, because I only know females that have it.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, Reverend Harper, the Grammy Award winning artist, Tony Braxton, things of that nature.
Yeah, they're all women. Where's
Yeah.
the one man that's popular or famous and he has lupus? Is it just relegated to women? I wonder.
But I'm going to research that because I don't know.
And I know several women around me that I know have lupus, but I have not seen a man walk up and say, I have lupus. So that's an important fact. I mean, it's just what I call the ministry of observation. I'm watching. I've seen that. I only seen women with it.
That is an important fact. So let me do some research on it. When we do the topic, I'll include that with it. Just like men can have breast cancer, I'm pretty sure men can develop lupus as well.
Yeah, but I'm just saying now, where he at? I didn't say it like that. I need to say it more proper. Where is he? I haven't seen one. I've only seen women.
All right, we're going to find out.
Okay, so I want to talk about Pitt County Animal Services and especially Greenville Animal Protective Services, because just like there's child protective services, there are protective services for animals. Sometimes people, they don't take care of their animals like they need to, or they feel like they're doing enough, but they don't have the shelter, they don't have the food, and sometimes things have gotten heavy and they don't know what to do with the animal. You know, you need to be able to call somebody to help them. Also, I saw here a leash law that your dog or cat, not the cat, but the dog is supposed to be on
a leash.
A leash 24 hours.
That's right.
My sweet little neighbor, her dog, she was walking and she's in her 80s and her dog was attacked. And I said he was attacked because somebody didn't have a leash on their dog. You know, it has actually made me feel a little frightful about going for a walk in my neighborhood, because if somebody got her dog, another dog attacked her dog, what would they feel about, a human walking through? So that leash law, your dog needs to be on a leash. And I've literally seen some big dogs. They might not be vicious, but I've seen them running around, in front of houses and different things while people were washing cars or doing this or that or playing or whatever, and the dog is loose. You need to have that dog on a leash.
That's right.
We were talking about it just this week. I was talking about it with someone. Sometimes animals just don't like certain people. And they may not bite other people, but then when they see that person, they start trying to bite them.
And an animal doesn't stink like a human.
It's me, Dr. Glenn, that they trying to bite. That's
Right,
why
now,
I'm telling you.
But let me give you one example of what I'm talking about. Let me give you one example of what I'm talking about. Animals don't stink like humans. For instance, I had a Suburban when I lived in Philadelphia. I was going down the street, made a right-hand turn on another street. As this lady was walking up the street with her dog, who was unleashed, the dog ran up under my car. I looked through the rearview mirror. He was just laying in the middle of the street, flat dead. I couldn't do nothing but stop and say, ma'am, I'm so sorry. But she was so hysterical. I'm like, what are you supposed to be? The dog didn't think to stop. He ran up under my car and got ran over.
Yeah, and should ain't that because he needed to be on the leash.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
Right, and then just thinking that they don't bite. I that's one of the things, I have a pet peeve with people. Oh, he don't bite. Next thing you know, he growling, teeth skint back and acting up. And, well, I thought you said he didn't bite.
That's right. Like I went over a friend's house. He had a pit bull. I said, well, let me stop for a minute. I'm not coming in there. He said, oh, come on in. He ain't going to do nothing. He ain't going to bite. He charged. Luckily, it was a screen door. He charged at me. Stop. Because I said, you mean to tell me if that screen door was in there, he wasn't going to do nothing but just stop? No.
Yeah, and that's ridiculous. They have teeth, they might bite, and they could bite. So you don't know. And sometimes, like you said, animals don't think like people. You think he don't bite, but he may have something in his mind. He might have had a bad night, a bad day, a nightmare or something, and now decide to try to bite somebody else.
Yeah, and this was a pit bull. Pit bulls are known to have a major grip. If he would have got his jaws around me, he would have held on me for as long as he could.
And there is, you can have certain exotic animals, but you have to have a permit for it. And I just saw this today. I've been watching those Michael Jackson specials, and Michael Jackson had had Bubbles. He had a monkey. So you can have something, but you need to have a permit for it.
Michael Jackson had so much money, he had giraffe money.
Yeah.
He had 2 giraffes. You don't even know who to call to get a giraffe.
Well, hey, we got some information about that because I think it's interesting that sometimes people, they have these exotic pets, maybe sometimes big snakes and things that can, get a hold of a dog, a child, or even a person. They need to have a permit for these exotic animals.
Yeah. I remember, I remember watching a broadcast where this lady had some of the exotic animals. She went on a vacation, didn't feed the animals. I think one of them was some kind of dog or cat. No, not cat. A dog or a snake. Never fed the dog while she was on vacation. Came back. That animal devoured her because it was so hungry. Just ate her up.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And that's because she shouldn't have had it. If you can't afford it and you can't afford to feed it, don't get it. But I'm sure there are limits to the permits. We're going to look that up too, Dr. Glenn, to see what kind of animals are that are allowed versus what is not allowed. Yeah.
When you do a little research and email me the documents.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some people hiding some things in some of these houses, Dr. Glenn.
Because there's some things that could be illegal here in Pitt County, North Carolina.
Yeah, because one police officer told me they saw a zebra in somebody's backyard with the horses. They had a zebra. Now, how they get a zebra?
Yeah, how they get a zebra. And I know for a fact, previously I had a officer on from the Wildlife Resources of North Carolina. And I asked him, did I see a bear in the back of my yard? He said, oh, you probably did, because bears are prone to Pitt County, North Carolina, just like anywhere. So I said, yeah, I thought that was a bear. And sure enough, it was.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's an exotic animal, illegal. So we don't want to play with that. But hey, we are is this our last one, Dr. Glenn? We're going off the air, right?
We're going off the air, yes.
Hey, we're going to see you and invite you back on next week. We're going to look up a few of these things, and we're going to have a part 2 to who to help and look at some of these things and these documents that we have more intently. We're glad that you tuned in, and we hope to see you next week, Dr. Glenn.
I want everybody to come back next week. As Apostle said, we didn't get to some of the other documents. There's a wealth of information that you should know because of people have a knack of knowledge, and we want to share this information with you so you have the knowledge that we have. So I hope everybody tune in the next week. We'll do part 2 on ways to get emergency help. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you all.
Awesome radio. Yes, awesome. Awesome. Can you hear it? Awesome. Awesome.
Awesome Radio Network will be spreading the love of Jesus to the male